Good morning everybody. So we are back again and we are here to do the larger box. So yesterday we did the biggest hexagon box, didn't we, out of this die set. So we used the biggest box there to get our 4 sizes. And what I didn't say as well yesterday is don't forget, if you do have the Tonic kaleidoscope boxes, you can make your smaller boxes. So obviously if you're lucky enough to have the kaleidoscope ones, then that's going to fit your smaller size book. So yesterday we did one that was really for our second one in. So we used this die for our second box. And then I did tell you about the kaleidoscope box fitting your third one in, which is that one. So you like I say, you can, I'm going to explain a little bit more about how you actually work out sizes, because it really is so easy. Because even with your kit, you can potentially actually make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Might be able to make a really tiny one, 9. You could potentially make 9 hexagon boxes out of this set. All you're actually doing is you're measuring the length of each side of the, of the hexagon. Obviously they're the same lengths, but that's all you're doing when you're determining what size box to make it. So I wanted to explain this a little bit better. Like I say, you could potentially have all those size boxes and make all those size boxes. So it's not just one box that you can get out of this kit. You can make a box for each one. Do you see what I mean? I'll try and explain a little bit more. See, this is why I love using products that I already have. But even if you don't have, let's take that one away. Even if you don't have the Tonic hexagon dies, although it's brilliant if you have, because obviously it does make life so much more easier, because all you're doing is running this through the machine and you're cutting it out once and it's done. That's the beauty of dies. That is the beauty of dies. They're quick, they're easy, plus that every single side is completely straight. So that is why we invest money in our dies, because that's what we get. We get a perfect cut. Oh, am I missing a die here? Have I got one that's fallen? No, I don't think I have. Right, so today we're going to make the biggest box. Now, like I say, this was the Tailored Frames Hexagon Layering Die Set from Tonic, which they did. It came out with the actual tailored frames. You may well be able to still get this. I'm not sure. You may, like I said, there's lots of different, there's a group on Facebook called Tonic Buy and Sell, I think, or Buy and Sell Tonic, I think it's called Buy and Sell Tonic. And, you can always pop on and ask and see if anyone's got them. But like I say, I like to use what I have. So this was the biggest hexagon frame, layering frame that I had. So I thought, right, well, I'll use that. But you can go on the internet, and if you put in hexagon templates, if you wanted to make this size box, all you would have to do is find a template. I think it's 11.5, isn't it? Yes. All you would have to do is find a template, okay, with an 11.5 centimetre hexagon. That's all you would put into the internet, is put in 11.5 centimetre hexagon template, and it will come up with lots of templates, and all you'd have to do is just draw around and cut round it, okay, and you'd have to do that twice. Obviously it takes longer, but that's what you can do. So again, in this set, potentially you could do 1, 2, 3, 4 size boxes even from this set. So this is, like I say, it's the beauty of having die sets, because they're so quick. You just run them through the machine and you've got your hexagon there. So what I have done is I have done a box. Now this is huge. It's a huge box, okay? It's the same principles. I'm going to show you how it's mocked up, but I wanted to show you, this really is, the height is too big for your memory book. Although if you wanted to put other things within the memory book, so you put your memory book in there and then you're putting some card in there and some instructions or a little gift with it, then this is going to be great. But I just wanted to show you how tall you can go with these boxes. You could even go taller if you used A3 cardstock. I'm using A4. But if you use A3, you can go even taller with them. So really the possibilities are endless. It's a lot more work, obviously, because we're doing it freehand. And like I say, the beauty of dies is they're so quick and easy, and that's why we buy them and we invest our money in them, because we get these lovely panels that go with them that you wouldn't be able to do freehand. But I'm going to show you how to put this box together. And like I said, this is the biggest box. Now, like I said, I'm not sure, actually, let's move this that way. I'm not sure if Tonic did any other Hexagon layering sets. I'm pretty sure there's lots of different dies, but I couldn't think of any others, certainly none that I had purchased. But like I say, I used what I had. So let's bring our scoreboard in again. Now, it's the same principle as yesterday, only our measurements are going to be different because of the size of the hexagon. Okay, so what you're actually doing is you're measuring, like I say, each edge of whatever hexagon you're using, and you can make all those boxes, not just the two I've made. You can make all these different sizes just from your sets. So you might want to have a little play about, and you might come up with some dimensions for the other ones. So what we're going to do is, again, we're using exactly the same principle as we did yesterday, only our measurements are slightly different. So again, excuse me, we're going to use your scoreboard and you're going to butt your A4 sheet of paper up against the side and make sure it's nice and flat. And this time we're going to go down at 11.5 centimetres as our first line. Our second line is going to be 23 centimetres, okay? And the one after that is 24, okay? So if you can imagine, these are obviously your panels, so these are each sides of your hexagon. Do you see? So all you're doing is you're measuring. So if your hexagon was 7 centimetres, then you do exactly the same, but you just score down at 7. Just measure your centimetres, and that's going to give you your panel. Okay, so in this instance, I went down at 1.5 centimetres. So I made it slightly, I made the lip, our little tabs where we're going to glue down slightly. This is our tab where we're gluing, you see. And I made that slightly smaller so that we could make the box even bigger. Now you could take that down to a 1 centimetre tab, you could, but I think because it's quite a big box, you need a fair sized tab, and I think 1.5 is really the lowest you should go, and that's just an opinion. You can try it. And like I say, you could do A3 panels. Do you see what I mean? So you would just, if you wanted an even taller one, so that is your height. That's your full height. So I've left it this time so you can see the height. But like I say, if you had an A3 sheet of paper, you would just do exactly the same. You would just score down on each line, and then you would have an A3 piece of paper, which is, much longer and taller. So that, again, is your side panels, and you would need 3 of these, okay? So for your lids, and your lids are slightly different, obviously, because they're bigger. So instead, yesterday, do you remember we had two parts to our lid? Well, today, we're going to have 3 parts to our lid. So let's just show you the measurements for that, for the lids. And you only do this once, remember? So again, we're going in at 11.5. We're going in at 23. Right, yes, sorry, I can't quite see that. 23, and then 24 centimetres, right? And then we're going to turn this round. Which way did I do it? We're going to turn this round, butt it up again to the side. You must make sure that you're getting this nice and straight at the edge, otherwise it's not going to work. It's got to be straight. So we're going to score down at 7 centimetres, then 8.5. We've got a nice big panel there. 8.5. Yes, I'm making them 1.5 centimetres, aren't they? And then, where are we? 14. Where are we? 14. There it is. Sorry, I'm just struggling to see that because the light's shining in my eyes. And 15 centimetres. Okay. I just had a look and that actually looks like I've... Oh, do you know what I've gone and done? I've not put my first line in, have I? See, silly me. Right, strike that. Always come prepared. Right, strike that one. Let's start on this lid again and I'll concentrate a bit more. Right, we start again. Sorry, I missed one of my lines. It's not an issue. Start again for the lid. We've got 11.5 centimetres, okay? 23, where are we? 23 centimetres, that's here, and then 24. Now, let's start this again. So you're going to turn your paper around and you're not going to miss your first line. That would help. Right, we're going to go at 1.5 centimetres, which is here. Where are we? 1.5. Okay. 7 centimetres. 8.5 centimetres. It's 8.5. I'm just wondering why. 8.5 centimetres. And then we've got 14 centimetres, and then we should have, I've put 15, but actually it's 15.5. It's actually 15.5 centimetres. Okay, that's better. My measurement was wrong there. Make sure you, when you do your templates, you've got your measurements right. Okay, so that is going to be your lid. Now, what did I say? This is going to give you actually 3 pieces. That's correct. Sorry about that. It would help, wouldn't it? It would help if I got the measurements correct. Come on, Nikki. Wake up. Right, we're going to do the same as we did yesterday. So remember, you're going to need 3 for your panels. That's that one. 3 of these. And you're only going to need 1 of these. So we're going to do, just to show you again in case there's somebody else that's not watching or hasn't watched the video yesterday, should I say. This is your scrap. You're not going to need this part. So we're going to chop that away, okay? And you're cutting on that line, okay? So we're going to chop that away. Chop that away. That's your waste. And we're going to do exactly the same as yesterday. So we're taking that corner out and then we're doing a nice little, making a nice tab. So you're cutting little triangles just at the bottoms, just like so. There we go, and there. So that's what you are left with. There we go. That done a bit. That's what you're left with. Now, just wanted to talk as well about yesterday with regards to not making these tab. Now, as I was doing it yesterday, I thought to myself, right, I realised the reason that people make this into a tab, and that's so that when you line your edges up, sometimes you do get a little line that comes up the top over the other. So that's why people cut, you know, and now I understand why that's why people cut a tab at the side, so that it doesn't go over it. Do you understand what I'm saying? When you're levelling them up, because sometimes you do get, let me just chop that bit better, sometimes you do get a little bit of a thing at the top, which I cut off, which I had yesterday and I cut off, and it doesn't, like I say, I like them to edge up at the top neatly. But you can, like I say, you can do this. This is what I'm saying, let's show you. You can do that, and then it will stop that from happening at the top. So maybe, on reflection, when you're first doing these, maybe just cut the corners off, because then you're not going to get any issues and then have to cut anything at the top. Do you understand what I'm saying? So, like I say, on reflection, let's make, why am I a bit funny today? Yes, on reflection, I'm thinking just maybe cut those edges off, right? So remember, you need 3 of those. That was the first one we did. Now for our lid, we're going to need, how many did I say? We're going to need 3, excuse me, and this is going to give us 3, yes, this is going to give us 3 panels. Now this here, where are we? Sorry, I haven't made one of these for about a week, you see, so I'm thinking, oh, how did I do that? But it's simple. So this is our waist here. Okay, so we're not going to need, can you see where the lines are? I'm hoping you can see, but this is our waist. So we're not going to need that. So this is where we're chopping. And remember, like I say, you're going to use your guillotines, your paper trimmers, and you will cut yours neatly. I mean, there is, I think Jodie used one. I don't know whether it's a Tonic one. I don't have it, but I did watch her a while back, and she was using a trimmer, and it's also a paper scorer. So you could probably, more than likely, do it on there, if I'm being honest. I can't remember, I don't know what it was called, but there is a, I think it might be, I'm sure it must be a Tonic one. It has to be Tonic. I'm guessing it was a paper trimmer, but it was a scorer as well. But anyways, if you have one of those, that would be perfect. I might have to invest in one of those, you know. I might have to, because, like I say, it's a scorer and a measurer and a paper trimmer. So that is your first. You see where I've cut the line down? Why can I not get, that's better. See where I've cut the line down with your tab on this side? That's where you're cutting. You're cutting so that you're making a tab. Can you see that? And like I say, I'm just cutting this so that, with scissors, so that you can see where you're going to be cutting. Okay? Can you see that? So that's what it's leaving. Let's do it that way. That's better. So that's what it's leaving you with. So you've got the tabs. Okay? And you are going to need those 3. You're going to need those 3. And again, same principle as last time. We're taking out the corner and you're making your tabs. Now I'm just thinking if we could do that on here, and I'm just trying to think what effect it's going to have if we cut down the tab. So I'm doing it this way so that you can see, using, do you see that? So we're just cutting down there, cutting down the edge and making those. Now again, you could do the same on this one. Like I say, I didn't when I was making them. Don't do it on the bottom one though, because I wouldn't actually. Do you know what I'm thinking of it? Because obviously, do you remember where we're doing the same as what we would do with our Tonic products? We're giving it a little bit of breathing room, so we're not sticking them down to the edges. We're just giving it that little bit of a gap. So you don't really want to put a tab there, because you're going to have, it's not going to line up. So no, don't do that on the lids. Definitely don't do that. Where I've said to you, this one will be okay. You can chop the sides off of the tab. I would not recommend you do it on the top, because I'm just thinking this is where your, do you see this? That's the bit where your lid sits. Can you see? So your lid is going to, that's your panels for your lid. And if you cut something there, you're going to see it. So don't do that on there. Keep that straight. Right. So let's bring out all of it. Apologies for getting that wrong this morning. I like to say mornings, I always say, don't I, that maybe I should do these in the evenings when I'm a little bit more awake, but I do them in the mornings because, you know, it's a lot quieter, you see. Right, so this is what you will have. So we've got our 3, this time 3. Do you remember yesterday we had 2 and we worked with 3 each? Do you remember? 3 panels on 1. But today we're working on 3 panels with 2 on each. That's literally because your box is bigger. So this is where we have cut out, and I'll just show you again, just in case we've cut out 2. Oh, come on, little die. We've cut out of this set, we've cut out 2 of the largest die in this set. Like I say, if you don't have this set, do not fear. Go onto the internet, put in 11.5 centimetre hexagon template, and it will give you a template that you can print out and cut out yourself. But again, I will stress, if you're doing it that way, you must make sure your edges are perfectly neat. And you know, because otherwise it really is not going to work. It's going to throw you out, but it can be done. So don't fear if you haven't got this 11.5 centimetre hexagon template, and that will give you exactly the same as what we've got here. But just remember, you need 2 and you must cut them out perfectly. You must, it's important. So that's our 2 for our lid and our base. And then we have our 3 side panels, haven't we? We've got our 3 side panels. So I think what we'll do is we'll start, let's put this to one side, we'll put the lid to one side, and we'll start on the bottom. And I will show you how to put it all together, just in case you didn't see the tutorial yesterday. But the tutorial is up. It's the hexagon, I think I put it up as hexagon box, using and then we've got die set. I think that's what it is, but it's the one before this anyway. It's the video before this, and that shows you how to make, I think it was it 9.5 centimetres? I think, if I'm not mistaken, I'm trying to have a look while I'm folding these. I'm trying to have a look, see where I put my, I think it's over there on the shelf, but I think I'll check that afterwards. When we finish this, I'll check it. But if you didn't have the hexagon memory book set and you wanted to make a box anyway, because these are brilliant. I'm going to make these at Christmas because they're lovely and big, and they're just look fantastic for presents. Like I said yesterday, the one I made up in, was it cream and grey? It looks like a wedding. Oh, also as well, I didn't tell you, some people were asking me about the papers. Well, I'll show you afterwards, but the black and cream one, the papers are actually craft perfect. And the other one, where it's embossed, believe it or not, I used, you know, I love I love using everything in my stash, and it was actually a Tonic. I will get it at the end. It was a Tonic die. It was the one where they had the buckle strips, and it had a embossing folder in it, and the embossing folder was small enough that I could fit the squares in them. So it's Tonic again, but it is, I will call it vintage Tonic. It's a vintage Tonic product, because, you know, I love all my Tonic, you know, as you all do. Anybody that, you know, we're all Tonic fans. Some people actually just collect them. You know, some people just don't do anything with them. They just collect them. Right. So I'm going to do it exactly the same way I did it yesterday. And this is actually, I think this is 300 GSM, because I wanted to try it on the 300. You can see what I'm doing, yes. I wanted to do it on the 300 just to see if there was any different effect to, you know, if it was going to affect the box using 300, because I thought to myself, I've just said about having 300, and then I thought, is it going to work, or is it going to make it a little bit harder? So I thought, you know what, use it and try it out. Okay, so we're going to do exactly what we did yesterday. We're going to, let's not do it that way. I don't want you to see my head, but I want you to see what I'm doing. So we're going to go in, and we're going to make sure these are really neat and straight and right on the edge. That's why we're using our wet glue. So like I say, it's very important to use your wet glue. Again, it's the same principle as when you're putting together a box, you know, like a tonic box. You just got to make sure that you're all neat and tidy. And I agree, this is better, because originally I'm so glad I didn't do it the other way, because it was so fiddly doing it the other way. You know, where I said put these all together first. I said, oh, stick these all together and then put them around. Don't do it that way. It really, you'd really struggle. And I'll tell you why. It's because the panels are so tall. Because the panels are tall, it's much more difficult to work with these taller panels. Like, yes, this is much better card. Like I say, this is 300 GSM. So we're going to see if it has any effect. I don't think so. I think it's going to be much more sturdy. I'm pretty sure it will be much more sturdy, and you're going to have a really substantial, lovely box. You know what? I was even thinking yesterday, like I say, you know, presents. Right, remember tab. So you've got your tab here, which we're not sticking down yet. So your tab goes on this side. Well, it can't go any other way anyway, but just make sure your tabs go the right way. And then again, we're going to pop that right up. I just need to push that in. There we go. Pop that right up to the edge. And again, on this side, we're putting them right up to the edge, making sure they're nice and level with each other. There we go. Nice and level and straight. And like I say, we're going to do the same as we did yesterday. We are not going to put those together yet. We're not. We're going to wait, okay? And then for our last panel, we're going to put those on afterwards. So last panel. Oh, who went? Oh, has anybody been on the? Yesterday went on the. Oh, it's my son banging the walls in bed. Did anybody see yesterday on the Tonic website? Jen Crate posted. Oh, these papers. I think she's doing. She's one of the professional designers for Tonic, and she posted. She's doing a Hexagon memory book. And she posted these papers that she's using. Oh, wow. I can't wait to see that. Did anyone else see it? Sorry, I moved that off camera a bit. Did anyone else see it? The papers were lovely. I'm not sure where the papers were from, but I tell you what, I can't wait to see that memory book, because that is going to look stunning. The designers are just, the Tonic designers. I go on there quite, obviously, and have a look at. Let's just put that in, so I'm just concentrating, and have a look at everything they make, and they're brilliant. They really are. They really are. And who else is seeing is it autumn? What are they calling it? Autumn fall? Is it called autumn fall kit? Oh, I like it. I do like it. I'm wondering though if we're going to get any Halloween dies in October. Tonic. Please, can we have some more Halloween dies? I love Halloween. I really, really do. I think they've only ever brought out one set of Halloween dies. I'd love another set. Right, let's get these side panels on. Okay. So we are running our glue along the edge. I'm just going to keep that nice and straight up the top. And then we're going to flatten that down, come down. You can't actually see, but what I'm doing is I'm just flattening that down, with just down there with my finger. It's difficult to see because obviously this is such a long box, but that's how I'm doing it. So I'm sticking the glue. Let's just, can you see that? You can kind of see it. I'm sticking the glue down the edges of the panels, and then I'm just running my finger down the sides, because like I said, it's important that you're getting glue right up to the edge so that it's stuck really well. And then what I'm doing is I just level it up at the top and pinch it a bit at the top. Okay, just pinch it at the top like that, and then turn it down, you see, flat, and then just run my finger down the edge. Just check that it is level and it's nice and straight and neat, and then just keep running it down to keep it nice and stuck down. That's how I'm doing it with these big boxes. Okay, so we've got one more to go. Oh, I've got a bit less sticky at the bottom. Let's just make sure that's nice and in. Now, see, that's why it's important to make sure you're getting glue right up to the edge at the bottom. That's really important, because if you don't, it's not going to stick down properly. So I'm just making sure that is stuck. You'll have lots of time, I always say it, but you will. You'll have much more time than me to put your boxes together. So let's go in with the glue down the edge. This is our last one, and then we can just start on our lid. See, it's a little bit more tricky to work with, like I say, because it's a much bigger box. You're working, where are we? It's just, so pinch at the top there, so you're getting it nice and straight, and then pop your box down and then just push it in to the edge, nice and straight and neat. Just make sure, yes, let's just push that little bit out. Let's say nice and straight, and there we go. That's the bottom part done. And remember what I said yesterday, it does look, it does have a little bit of a funny shape at first, and then you think, oh, but it works. Trust me, it works. So let's move our box out the way, and let's bring in, where are they? There they are, our lid. So we're going to do exactly the same for our lid. So we're going to go and unfold these. So exactly the same principle as what we did yesterday and what we've just done on the bottom box. I just really wanted to see how this worked on a I don't actually know if this is 300. I think it is. That's definitely 300. I'm wondering if I've used two. No, that is 300. It is definitely, yeah, it is definitely a 300. I'm sure of it. I'm just thinking. Right, okay, so same, let's see if we can fly through this. Same principle as before. Taking one, I'm just making sure you can see me. Taking one of our edges. And I'm going to go in and do exactly the same. So yes, yeah, I can't wait to see Jen's project. Some of the stuff as well that people post on making memories with Jodie, oh my gosh, the projects, there's some lovely memory books on there, isn't there? You know, I actually had some time, it was last night, and I was just looking through lots of people's makes on there, and you know, they're beautiful. Some of them must just be so time consuming to do. Right, let's come in at the edge. So we're going in, making sure it's all straight and neat, and it's really important on this lid that you get this really, you know, on the edge. You don't want any overhang. This is, you know, it's important to get that really as outer to the edge really as you possibly can. No bringing it in at all. It really needs to be on that edge. You understand? Because this is our lid. So it really is important. It's not so, you know, with the bottom, if you come in a millimetre or two, it's not that much of a problem. But when you're doing the lid, it's really important, because do you remember I said yesterday, because we're using the same size hexagons for the lid and the base, it's important, because you want, as you know, the lid needs to be as roomy as possible, and really even millimetres make a they really do, even millimetres make a difference, you know, on the lid. Right, so I didn't fold that bit over again. We should now fly through this. I should be flying through. Right, that's nice and neat and straight to the line. There we go. Up to that line. You see, this is coming together now. This is really coming together. Like I say, I really am concentrating on making sure that that is as up to the edge as it most possibly can be, without, do you understand, without an overhang, right up to the edge. Okay, last panel, and then we are nearly finished our box. I mean, these are quite quick. They're obviously a lot more time consuming, in the sense of you've got to measure things out yourself. So it's not like having a die set. You know, there's nothing like having a die set to make your life easy. And, you know, like I say, we can't make all these intricate panels. But having said that, I was going to have a look in my Tonic stash and just see, because I know definitely, without beyond a shadow of a doubt, there are going to be some panels in some of the other sets that are going to fit on the side of your boxes perfectly. I was actually wondering, do you remember they did, do you remember they did, it was a box, well, they've done quite a few boxes, I can't remember what it was called now, but I thought, do you know what, I think that the panels from that set will actually fit onto our box. I'm sure of it. But I will have a look, because like I say, I love, what I love is taking their products and intermixing them with each other. That's where I get enjoyment, when I buy a product from them and then I look and I think, oh, what can that go with? What can I mix that? That's where I get my enjoyment the most. Right, so remember again what we said about having room. The same ways, I'll say it again, Jodie told us when we were doing all our boxes, you need breathing room. You need breathing room. I think she always referred to it as after a Sunday lunch. So we are going to give this a little bit, can you see? A little bit of an edge. So we're just bringing that out ever so slightly. Just remember, we've got 3 edges on this. It's not like the other one where you've got 2. You've got 3 edges on this one. So you do have to be careful. Be mindful of, you don't want too much room on them, because you're going to see 3 of these. Do you understand what I'm saying? Whereas with this smaller box yesterday, the one from the memory box kit, because we had 2 panels at the top, you only had 2 closures on it. So you've got 3. But like I say, with this one, you've got the 3 closures. So just be aware that you are going to see that a little bit. So I'm just giving that a little bit of an edge. See, not too much, but a little bit of a gap. Yep. So we're on our last one, and then the moment of truth to find out whether this 300 GSM is going to work. I'm sure it is. I'm pretty confident. Right, one more to go, and again I'm just going to have a little bit of an edge on there. Believe me, once you get your panels on, you're not gonna worry about it. It's fine. Oh, look at that! You see that? There we go. So a little bit. Where are we? A little bit of an edge there. So I'm not giving it too much, because I'm confident Like I say, you're looking at it thinking, it's a bit wonky. It's a bit... No, no, no. It's going to fit on perfectly. Again, the moment of truth. And I'm so confident. Oh, look at that. There we go. And there you have it. And again, I'll say, you do get a little bit, excuse me, of a bend. But once you put your panels on, that's going to pop right out. It really will. You can decorate them however you wish. You can go to town with these. Like I say, if you have the layering die set, all I've done is quite obvious. I've just gone in on every single one. I've die cut the layer and then I've die cut the frame, stuck one on top. Then I've put some double-sided, the foam tape, just one on each layer. That's what I've done. Now, for the dimensions, if you do want to make this actual box, this size, and like I say, this size, let's just move our done one. This size box is the biggest you get out of an A4. It's the biggest. You can change the lid size if you wanted to make it smaller, but I think that's perfect for that, really. You don't want to really go too small. I mean, you could do. But if you wanted to put these panels on, I will tell you, let's have a look which one is which. So, your top 3 panels, which I've cut down by hand, your purple outer edge is 11 by 5 centimetres. Your inner, so the silver, is 10 by 4 centimetres. And then this panel is 9 by 3 centimetres, just in case you did want the dimensions for this box. So I've done each of those. Now for these panels, under the bottom, all I've done is dropped a centimetre. That's all I've done. It's 11 by 13.5 centimetres for the outer one. Silver one is 10 centimetres by 12.5 centimetres. And the middle layer is 9 centimetres by 11.5 centimetres. So those are your layers. That's the dimensions you need for those. Let's put that up there. And then again, I did exactly, like I say, if you didn't see it yesterday, go and have a look at the tutorial. I've done exactly the same, where, I don't know if you can you see from the top? You can you see there where we've got the, double-sided, the foam tape. I've put, and I'll make this clearer, you put one on the top, so one here and one here, but you do it twice, one on top of the other. So two there, but one, if you know what I mean, underneath. Exactly what I did yesterday, and I did show it, so go and have a look at the tutorial yesterday. And I've threaded the ribbon through in exactly the same manner as I did. And then we've just decorated that with a little bee. And how cute does that look? So let's just show you, of course, how much room you're going to get in there, because you are getting a decent sized room. So this was our first book, and I would have done a matching box, but I ran out of grey, so I will do one when my grey comes. But just to show you how much room, you know, you get a lovely amount of room. Do you see? It fits perfectly, but you've got a perfect amount. Do you see what I mean? Now this is obviously quite tall. You could cut yours down when you get to the first, when you're doing your panels of the side of the box. That's where I said to you again in my other tutorial yesterday, when I said now's the time to cut down, where yesterday we cut 6 centimetres off from the opposite one. Do you see what I mean? We cut, so we made the side bit shorter. You can do that with this. So if you didn't want this massive, I'm just showing you that you can get a really tall box out of it. But you could cut that down if you didn't want all this excess, height. That's the word I'm looking for. Obviously, your panels are going to be different dimensions. Remember that if you're cutting down, your panels, the dimensions I've given you for the panels here will not be the same if you cut this down, okay? But it's just to show you it fits in perfectly. And again, you can, if you want to put a bow in there, you're not worried about that because you know it's going to fit. If, you know, you want to decorate it, you want to put a card with it, if you want to put instructions with it. And you don't have to just use them for memory books. In fact, just looking at this, how cool is this? It's just another thing. I know I'm rabbiting. I don't want to rabbit, but look at that. They fit into each other. Look at that. How cool is that? I didn't even think. Oh, look at that. You could do with both of those sets, with your memory book Hexagon set and with the layering set, you could do a small one, what are they called? Those little, the Russian dolls where you put one in the other, and you could do that with this. And maybe at Christmas, if you're giving a gift or something, it would be lovely if you was giving, you know, a piece of jewellery to somebody, or an engagement, somebody was giving an engagement, and you had your ring right in the smaller one, because you've got a tiny one in them. You've got smaller ones you could put, you know, your ring box, and then just keep. How beautiful would that be? So they fit in each other. Didn't even think about that. Oh, see what I mean? That's what I mean. You know, I'm so pleased I bought those memory book dies, because if I didn't buy the Hexagon memory book dies, I would never ever have done this. And that's what I mean. It's taken me out of my comfort zone and forced me to do things that I wouldn't normally do. So those are our boxes, and this is where, let's take the one that we've just done and pop that down here. This is where this is what I'm saying. You can do Hexagon boxes. There's a million and one tutorials, but I like to use what I have. And there's no point in having all these products if you're not going to use them. And they are so versatile. You can use them for so many different things, you see. So this was the original kaleidoscope box. That's going to fit you if you do have it, but you can make one. Like I've said, all you've got to do, and I'm going to stop rabbiting on now, I just want to make sure that you know and that you understand that you can do these, you know, you can do these. Let's just move this up a little bit. And this kaleidoscope box is going to fit your third one in. It's going to fit your third book. So we've made a box now for our outside. We've made a box for our second one down, and we've made a box now, well, if you do have the kaleidoscope box, for our third one. But what I'm trying to say to you is, even if you don't have the kaleidoscope box, you can make one yourself. All you would need to do, if you wanted one for this, same ways as if you wanted one for the second one in, and you didn't have, you can use this layering die. All you're doing is you're measuring, let's see that one. So the second layering die in is, oh, we've got a bit of an odd one. So it's 8.7 centimetres, this second die. So all you'd need to do is use exactly the same principle, and instead of scoring down on 11.5 like we did for this one, you would score down at 8.7 centimetres. And again, the next one in at 7.5, the next one in there, 7 centimetres. You could go right down, even these little diddy ones. You could make a really diddy one. Oh, I might have to do that, you know. That's so cute. That's just under 4 centimetres. All you're doing is measuring the edge. That's all you're doing. So like I say, you could potentially have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, should we say 10? That'd be a really tiny box. You're not going to make a box that, well, you might be able to. Let's go for it. Let's say you can have 11 boxes out of that. So I do hope these are, especially if you're new, not if you're a real, you know, if you've been crafting for years, you're going to know this anyway. And like I say, I didn't know. Who knew? I didn't know till recently. But if you're beginning your crafting journey, then I do hope these are just giving you some ideas and some help. And, you know, it's always nice to have a box, isn't it, for your memory books. So I think I've covered pretty much everything to do with the boxes as they are. You never know, Tonic might come up with you know, an idea of making a big box for these dies. You never know. I'm sure there's going to be a lot more in the memory book range. I'm sure there will be. But thank you so much for watching, and I do hope you've enjoyed it as much as I have. Like I say, I've absolutely loved the last couple of weeks. I've just been in my element, sitting there working away, making these boxes and books, and been in a real happy place. So like I say, I've enjoyed doing it. Thank you for watching, and if you do want to hit subscribe, feel free to, and if not, I will see you in my next tutorial, where I will be doing, what was I doing? Oh, I tell you what I've got lined up. I've got lined up another light up frame. I don't know if you saw the tutorial with the light up frame with the honeycomb that I did. I'm doing another light up one, but with a remote control. So it's going to be, you're going to have a remote control to use. You're not going to have to turn switches on at the back. I'm also working on another light up memory book, but for a baby. And there was another one. There's quite a few projects actually I've got lined up to do. And I thought maybe we'd do something fun for Halloween. I was thinking of maybe doing like a memory book, but a haunted memory book. I thought maybe I've got some stuff set up for that as well. So yeah, just stay tuned. And like I said, we're going to have some fun along the way and learn a lot as well, and hopefully play with some more new dies. So again, I'm rabbiting. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next tutorial. Bye.